This video presents to you Texas rub beef brisket. This brisket was delicious. This is an awesome recipe. It's not that complicated, pretty simple. Anyone should try it. Here's the list of ingredients to make the rub. And here we go. It's about 2 to 3 tablespoons of each. 2 tablespoons of ground cumin, 2 tablespoons of chili powder, 4 tablespoons of smoked paprika, and it's the smoked, some liquid smoke, lemon pepper, that's about 3 tablespoons there of that, a tablespoon of Himalayan salt, pink salt, 2 tablespoons of ground black pepper, 3 tablespoons of onion powder, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, and 2 tablespoons of Swerve brown sugar replacement. Now this was mixed up all together, and actually this is the second batch I'm making, and the first batch was to apply over the raw meat, and then I let it marinate for 24 hours, and I had it in a plastic bag, but you could also put it in a bowl with some cling wrap over it. So this is actually another batch that I'm making to add a little bit for the video, and then also to make sure I have enough on the meat, and then I'm going to use it for the onions later on. So here I'm just incorporating it all together, making sure it comes out. Now you want to make sure that you're using liquid smoke or smoked paprika rather than regular paprika to give that smoked flavor that you want to your beef brisket. Now traditional smoking of meat usually is the slow and low method with your smoked woods, but this is the winter and I don't want to pull out my smoker, so I'm in Chicago, so I'm going to use my oven. So here I am just applying the seasoning on there. And I'll show you a little bit about the fat cap that your brisket should have. This actually was a piece of meat that we've gotten from a family friend who raised her cattle. Well, I guess not cattle, just I guess they had a couple of cows. But so we purchased a portion of that cow, and so it's super lean. So there really wasn't a big fat cap with this piece of meat. So, and you'll kind of see me after I'm done putting all that rub everywhere. But there I am showing you the fat cap. Really not much of one on this one. Okay. And I'll be leaving that sit there for a minute because I have to go to the next step, which will be 3 pounds of onions. Oh, my eyes were tearing so bad. And this is just me showing you what I do with all my vegetable scraps afterwards. I put them in coffee cans and I save them when I make broth, which you'll see my homemade broth that I make. I mean, it's really easy. All the chickens or kitchen scraps that you're using from your vegetables, just throw them in here and put them in the freezer. And then usually when I have a whole chicken or a whole turkey, I save the bones and I put that in a freezer, and on a day when I have some time, usually on Sundays or Saturdays, I'll make broth. It doesn't take much, but I'll do another video on that. So here I am just putting those scraps in there, and the reason why I save the onion peels is because that's what makes it yellow, is you save those onion peels. Off they go in the freezer just to stay, nice and frozen until I need them. Okay, here are those onions that made me cry so hard. I'm going to be taking those shortly and adding to this. Here's the roasting pan that I'll be using for the brisket. You want a large enough roasting pan that you can sear and cook on a stovetop, in addition to placing in your oven. So here I'm adding avocado oil so I can sear the meat. Now, in my original video, you would hear the sound of the meat searing. Unfortunately, I'm voicing over that, so you won't get to hear that sizzling, which was fabulous, but it's okay. Here I am struggling with the meat, trying to put the meat in there, plus hold the camera. I'll get better as this time goes on. Here I am, browning or searing each side. There we go. It takes about 3 to 4 minutes on each side. I'm pretty impatient, so I probably waited for 2 minutes. And I'm checking it. Pretty soon. And again, still trying to struggle with one hand. Getting ready to preheat my oven to 75, low and slow. Now you're going to roast this beef brisket an hour per pound. So this one is a small one, it's 3.5 pounds, so it was about 3.5 hours. Here I'm trying to struggle again, one-handed. Now, as you can see, the little area that looks a little charred, it's not actually charred. It's the brown sugar. It's caramelized. So, of course, that's going to happen. So, now I'm cooking the other side and searing it nice and brown and removing it off. Done. And here is all that remaining tidbits of loveliness from the meat. I'm just adjusting my temperature down a little bit to not burn anything. I'm throwing those onions in. And you're going to cook the onions until they are translucent. Still stirring those onions. Now here's where I'm going to add that remaining part of the rub, and then just flavor these onions with all of that Texas love flavors. And then I added about 2-3 tablespoons, teaspoon probably, of liquid smoke. They probably didn't have a teaspoon on me. I could eyeball it. I'm just going to mix that in, so let it cook. Try to break down some of those onion slices and put more in it. This is brisket, showing you that fat cap, how beautiful it looks. Here is my chicken broth that I mentioned that I make. And that's another video I'll show you. But those onion peels is what makes it that color. Now all of that oil has evaporated and all the flavors are cooked into the onions. I'm going to deglaze. And I use about 3 tablespoons of Marcella wine to kind of render down the onion and deglaze them. Next, I'll add 3/4 cup of the chicken stock. Some flavor. Now I will also continue using the
Smell like
rest
onions?
of that jar throughout the cooking process. Every half hour I would go back and check the meat and just make sure the onions are not getting dry, and I would add on to that. So I pretty much went through a full 16-ounce thing of chicken broth periodically. So it will depend on what the size of your brisket is. Beautiful, delicious onions. And now I'll be placing the brisket back onto the plate, or back onto the pan of onions, and putting that into the oven for an hour per pound. Okay, as I struggle a little, here we go. Getting it in, popping that baby in. The whole house smelled fabulous. 275 again, low and slow, an hour per pound. This is just the remainder of those onions that I had. And then I wrap this meat up for an hour once this was done, to let it sit and to rest. So thank you for watching my video. Please come back again, and I hope you enjoy and you try this wonderful recipe.